On this edition of Outlook TV, Francis Bacon exhibit at the AGO.
Vegas Live fundraiser with Mr. Bobby Drake.
Tim Stevenson is back with lessons from Sochi.
And much, much more. Hello and welcome to Outlook TV. I'm Rebecca Wyman.
And I'm Dan Doomshaw. This is the Queer News Magazine show that brings you stories from coast to coast that matter the most to us.
And we're going to start out with this second April episode by going to bingo.
Bingo for Life is a staple in the Vancouver queer community.
We sent Keenan with his dauber.
Hey everybody, we're here at Celebrities for Bingo for Life, and I personally am so excited because this is the first time I've ever gone to Bingo for Life. So let's see what happens.
Welcome to Bingo for Life. My name is Joni. I'll be your MC this evening, and this is the lovely Carlotta girl who will be with us this evening. So first of all, we want to thank you all for coming, and next I want to let you know about some rules and regulations. Rule number 1, the drag queens are always right. Rule number 2, the more Carlotta and I drink, the funner it is. Rule number 3, the more you all drink, the prettier Carlotta and I is.
Now, this is my first time here.
Oh, a virgin. A bingo virgin.
Ooh. No one needs to know that though.
Okay. Mom's the word.
Yes, exactly. So how long have you been attending this event for?
I started volunteering in 2002, so that's coming up to 12 years now. And it's been a lot of fun. I met a lot of great people, and we've raised a heck of a lot of money for Friends for Life, which is the best part of the whole thing.
We're gonna hear some noise.
Well, I was very fortunate. I received the Golden and Diamond Jubilee Award from Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, and a lot of that was due to the work that everyone has done with regards to Bingo for Life in the last 2 decades. It was a great honor, but it's one I certainly share. I got it, but it's everybody's. There's a ton of volunteers that help out with bingo. There's other drag queens, Carlotta, who's here tonight, and Summer Clearance, and Mandy Camp, and in the past, Justine Time and Vivian Vaughn. And the scores of people that have come and have donated dollar after dollar. Those are the reasons I got those awards. So,
What's the best bingo advice you can give me right now?
Don't drink too much so that you don't lose concentration, because that's the big factor here. There's a lot of distractions with the drag queens carrying on, but the big idea here is to come out and have fun. And if you're not sure where you are, check with your neighbor. Maybe they'll help, maybe they won't. But if you call a false bingo, you get to wear the wig.
Oh, that's what the wig's about.
Correct. So if you're not going to be embarrassed by wearing a god-awful multicolored afro, then go ahead and make as many mistakes as you want.
I have a feeling I'm going to be wearing that afro tonight. It's been awesome being here, and I can't wait to come again next week. This is Keenan Schnorr signing out. Bye, guys.
Tim Stevenson went to the Sochi Olympics. We interviewed him before he went, and now he's back.
Our reporter Angus Pratt caught up with this LGBT ambassador to find out what he learned.
Here we are once again at Vancouver City Hall, where we're about to interview Councillor Tim Stevenson about his trip to the Sochi Winter Olympics. Let's go find Councillor Stevenson. And how are you?
I'm great, thank you very much. Nice to be with you, Angus.
Well, thank you very much. The last time we talked, you were just heading over to Sochi for the Winter Olympics. When you first found yourself on the plane and said, I'm actually going to Sochi as an openly gay politician, did you have any concerns or apprehensions that crossed your mind during that period?
Oh, long before I got on the plane, I had apprehensions. Yes, of course I did, but you couldn't help but read the papers of what's going on in Russia and realize that I wasn't going to a very friendly place.
Now, the one main reason you were going is you wanted to have a meeting with the IOC. Could you give us a few of the highlights of that meeting?
Well, it was an amazing meeting. First of all, I really didn't expect to meet with the president's office. I mean, we were trying to meet with IOC members, chief of staff of the president of the IOC, and also the director of communications. We were there over an hour and a half. and we discussed all the issues. They were very open and really wanting to say that the IOC is going in a new direction, that this Russian experience obviously had embarrassed them. On the table, absolutely, were the GLBT issues and inclusion in the charter. So it was a very, very encouraging meeting. They just wanted to discuss the implications and so on, and they brought up a number of points about, you know, how do you make hard and fast rules about any of these things in certain countries around human rights.
Now, do you know if the result of this there were any pride houses that are going to be announced at future Olympics as a result of this?
Rio is going to have a Pride House. We're now looking ahead to Tokyo as well. And the IOC said that they totally agreed with having these Pride Houses, that they should be run by our community, GLBT community. They should not be run by the IOC or in the Olympic Village where only athletes and you know, people with passes can get in. They have to be in the city so that everybody is, like we had here. They're going to be looking at cities from here on in with a lens of human rights. They have never had a Secretary General come to the IOC before meetings. He flew from New York to talk about the fact that GLBT issues had to be included within the Olympics. There had to be full rights and no discrimination.
Well, now, when you left, I mean, there were a lot of people there with the Russian Gay Sports Federation that are going to be left with holding the bag, so to speak, after all the international media leaves. Do you have any concerns about what they're going to experience?
Absolutely, and I've been in contact with them, and they have had a difficult time, but they're very determined. You know, these people are very brave, but it's difficult for them. But they're very determined, and they were absolutely sure that we had to go, that we had to be there. There were no Russian advocates that were saying, "Don't come to Russia," you know, boycott these games. They did not want the games boycotted. They wanted us to be there. They wanted us to stand up, and now to continue to help them.
For Outlook TV, this is Angus Pratt at Vancouver City Hall.
We're going to have to take a short break, but do stay tuned.
That's right, we've got lots more queer if you stay right here.
There's a smile on my face for the whole human race. Why, it's almost like being in love.
Thanks for staying tuned. You're watching Outlook TV.
Our next story brings us to the world of art,
We sent our reporter Scott to the Art Gallery of Ontario,
where there is an exhibition of paintings and sculptures by Henry Moore and Francis Bacon. I don't know art, but I know what I like.
I'm Scott McInnes here for Outlook TV, and today we're at the Art Gallery of Ontario in Toronto for the opening of the new exhibition Francis Bacon and Henry Moore, Terror and Beauty. This exhibition deals with themes of suffering and survival and marks the first time that Francis Bacon's work will be exhibited to the Canadian public.
The first room that has art in the exhibition has Moore's drawings, Henry Moore's drawings, that were done during the Blitz. The Blitz, World War II, was an extraordinary time in London. Nobody was expecting the Blitz to happen. It was full-on bombing from September 1940 to May 1941. People were going into the London Underground, which is very deep in London, it's hugely deep, to protect themselves overnight. And Henry Moore saw this. He was on the train coming home on the fourth night of the bombing and saw these people lying on the platform and was astounded. Well, number one, he thought they looked like a row of Henry Moore sculptures. But number two, the fact that people were living this way, surviving this way. So we've paired drawings. He eventually became a war artist and actually went night after night, and then from memory did the sketches. When you go into the next room, you'll go past a Henry Moore sculpture, which people think of Henry Moore's women as being perhaps nurturing and about fertility and so on. This particular reclining sculpture that you'll see, which was done just after the war, is skeletal. And the faces, she's got her face up and it's like a scream. Now remember that, you know, as soon as the war ended, people started seeing images of the Holocaust and there was rationing. So this art has come from a horror show. Right behind it is a magnificent Bacon triptych, which he first did. It was Stations of the Cross, I can't remember. He first did it in 1944. In 1988, when he was 78 years old, he redid this painting. And it's a triptych, so it's 3 panels with these strange creatures. Now, it's not the crucifixion, it's a crucifixion. Both Moore and Bacon were staunch, vehement atheists. But they chose to use religious symbolism as something you could hang all sorts of emotion on. And what they quoted, both of them said, it's man's inhumanity to man is symbolized by the crucifixion.
Francis Bacon was famously an out gay artist throughout the 20th century. Can you speak a little on how his sexuality may have influenced his work?
Well, his whole life was influenced by his sexuality. He was born to a Protestant family in Dublin, upper class, rather cold parents, and knew he was homosexual when he was quite young, I think. His parents disapproved, his father violently disapproved, and actually got the stable hands to beat him in the hopes of beating femininity or, homosexuality out of him. In fact, he had his first sexual relations with some of the stable hands. For various reasons, he became sadomasochistic. I'm sure that started, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I'm sure that started from his youth. He had various lovers during his life, and he paints his version of reality. And his reality, of course, has violence in it. You have to spend time with real art and see what responses you get, see what you start feeling when you're looking at it. That's really the point of an art experience.
The exhibition runs until July 20th. For more information, visit ago.net. For Outlook TV, I'm Scott McInnes.
Up next, we take you to Vegas Live, which was a fundraiser for the New West Pride Society and Food Bank.
Our esteemed reporter, Mr. Gay Canada, Christopher Wee, brings us this story about how New West is raising funds for this year's Pride.
Hi everyone, I'm Christopher Wee, Mr. Gay Canada 2014, and I'm here at the Columbia Theatre in New Westminster for Vegas Live, which is a show by Bobby Drake, and it is a fundraiser for New West Pride Society. So come with me, we're going to do an interview with Bobby Drake and other special guests.
There's a smile on my face for the whole human race. Why, it's almost like being in love.
Well, we're blessed to have Ms. Bobby Drake joining us this evening from Las Vegas. Bobby has been on Broadway, toured the world. Bobby's drag mother is actually Carlotta, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert fame. So Bobby has a great background, and we're just so blessed to have Bobby here joining us this evening.
Their knees just to tease. You gotta have boobies if you want men to offer diamonds and rubies.
Vegas Live is it's a kind of a start of a show that I started to tour with, and we decided to start it here. The show tonight is basically just some really good music, a few naughty stories, and fun. It's just fun. It's a nice night's entertainment, I think. The music is excellent, and I'm doing all right I'm holding my own.
Of the town. And when we're swinging, nobody's bringing us down.
So anyway, my grandfather was actually born in New Westminster, 1899. He was born.
Like coming home for you?
It is. I actually went to school in Canada too. I'm an old Brentwood boy.
What a red moon I'm in. Why, it's almost like being in love.
So we've got tonight's show, but then the next ones, we've got a boat cruise on June 13th. And that will be leaving from the pier down near the river market there. And then this summer, we've just got, our events are exploding. We're moving from a weekend to an entire 9-day, week-long festival. And that's going to culminate in our main event being a big street party on Columbia.
The little drag show that happened in the back room of the Heritage was not just me alone. The lovely Miss Amanda Love, who is now... It all started when me and another drag queen named Amanda Love started to do drag shows at the Heritage Grill, which is right across from the theater here, basically. And New West was starting to form itself. They needed some money for Pride and stuff, so we started by doing all our raffles at those nights became money for Pride. Then we put on fundraisers for Pride. Then we did gin, which is Gay New Westminster, in the back room of the Heritage Grill. So all pretty exciting, like how it all developed over the years, and you know, performing for them and fundraisers, and we did a couple of big shows here at the beautiful Columbia Theater for them. So it's always great to be appreciated.
Always just go to our Facebook page to find out about all of our events and the different activities that are coming up. Because in addition to the events that we throw as a society, there's a lot of things happening around town, and we're trying to start promoting more of those events so that people in the community are aware of what's happening in New West, that the events that support the LGBT community.
I'm Christopher Wee. We're at the Columbia Theater in New Westminster.
Up next, we've got our producer Fred's op-ed piece.
And this op-ed piece is about the way we search for information. Kind of. What search engine do you use when you open up the internet?
Google Chrome.
Well, some people have switched after hearing the news about Firefox's CEO and what kind of political campaign donations he was making. Fred has more.
Well, the CEO of Mozilla stepped down after 2 weeks in office due to his opposition to gay marriage and the fact that he donated $1,000 to support Prop 8 in California. When the queer community heard about it, they demanded he step down. OkCupid even recommended to stop using Firefox, which was a call to arms for the queer community. Of course, the CEO attempted to defuse the problem with a blog post and interviews about diversity and inclusiveness, but he didn't say anything about his own opinion on same-sex marriage. Mozilla is in the Silicon Valley, in California, and California is one of 17 states that prohibit bias based on sexual orientation and gender identity in the public and private sector. So, of course, being a homophobic CEO isn't good for business, and it drives away customers. So, hey ho, the homophobic CEO has got to go. Now, some people are boo-hooing that the queers have gone too far and that poor man lost his job, to which the queer community says, too bad. What about the LGBTQ workers in the other 33 states who have lost their jobs because of who they are? In those other 33 states, queers are discriminated against with various arguments like, we don't want homosexuals working for us, and it's bad for business. But isn't that the same argument we used to get rid of Mozilla's CEO? We accuse homophobes of doing the same thing that we are doing. But the big difference is this. Being fired for being gay and being fired for being afraid of gays is very different. I can't change being gay, but I can change my mind about being afraid of gays with education, like asking questions like, why do I fear homosexuals so much? We saw in Arizona where the governor vetoed an anti-gay bill for religious freedom, not because she felt it was discriminatory, as it passed easily the legislators, but because it was bad for business. Now that same bill has easily passed the legislators in Mississippi, and hopefully their governor will veto it because it's bad for business. Discrimination is bad for business because one less customer hurts your company. Basic economics. So, a homophobic CEO stepping down is great for our community because having allies in key positions in big businesses can put financial pressures on governors around the states to veto discriminatory laws against us. A ballot is one way that you can make your views known, and $1 is another way. No one discriminates against a green dollar or a pink one.
Ready?
Break!
So nice to see you back. You're watching Outlook TV.
Sometimes when we do research for the show, we come across some incredible things. And the latest video that's really caught our eye is from the University of Alberta and their Pride celebrations.
They're celebrating their second year of Pride, and they made this video in promotion of it.
I think Pride Week is a really amazing opportunity for everyone at the University of Alberta and our campuses to come together and have a chance to learn, try out some new language, meet some new people, because knowledge and awareness is our key to creating more inclusive and socially just spaces. And so this is an invitation for everyone. This week is for everyone.
So welcome to the University of Alberta second annual Pride Week. Can I get a cheer for that? Okay, all around the world, we would also like to acknowledge and thank the diverse Indigenous peoples whose footsteps have marked the territory for centuries, such as Cree, Saulteaux, Blackfoot, Métis, and Nakota Sioux. Like any movement for social justice and equity, we must recognize the ways in which we contribute to and are impacted by systems of oppression, such as colonialism, racism, heterosexism, and ableism. Let's move through Alberta Pride Week with a critical lens and caring in our hearts. Can you hear me? I'm Carl Amrine, I'm the provost of the university, and I'd like to thank all of you who have come out on a rather blustery day to give evidence to the fact that the university strives to be a safe and open environment for everybody, regardless of any of their personal characteristics, sexual orientations, ethnicity, or any of those other characteristics that we would never want to feel anybody in an uncomfortable position to display. I brought with me my firefly to celebrate this.
Because when I was out there looking around, it felt like this huge weight being lifted off my shoulders, that here on campus there's institutional support and awareness and love for our students and staff, and you could see that. And so when our leaders step up and rise to the occasion, then that lets all of the students and staff on campus rise up too and lift their heads up high. It was so great.
It's all back.
This year's Pride Parade, I guess because it's just being first year in university, it's kind of it's something I hadn't experienced before in a school environment, in a school setting. So being able to kind of unite with the campus as a whole and walk with this giant group around, yelling, shouting, and just having fun with it all, I just think it's a really cool experience, and one I didn't really expect coming to school, but I appreciate it.
I walked in this year's Pride Parade because just the friends in the community we built through U of A Pride Week, before that with Outreach, all the way back to the 80s. We've been building this community for so long, and it's just so exciting to see how far we've come.
I walked in this year's Pride Parade because I believe that everyone should just take pride in who they are and just be able to fully embrace it and be able to just be happy and be proud.
As a gay student here at the university, it really means a lot to me that the campus is dedicated to making a safe space for everyone, and I spend most of my time here, so it's nice that we can all celebrate it.
So from the beginning of Pride Week planning, it's always been around community building, and so when we talk about the straight and gay or queer community coming together, it's already kind of been this really lovely intermeshed community building from the beginning. So we've got allies working towards this, we've got people identifying within the queer community or LGBTQ community. It's something that has been part of this campus already, and Pride Week got to kind of bring that to light, which was really cool.
And now the story that takes us the furthest west of the whole show, to Vancouver Island, where Gouda Gabor proved that cheese gets better with age.
We sent Mr. Gay Victoria to cover it for us.
I am here at Paparazzi with Helena and Attila, the owners and CEO of Paparazzi. We are here to celebrate Buddha Gabor's 100th birthday.
Play my song! Happy birthday, Sweet 16!
We've known Buddha for over 6 or 7 years. When she came to Victoria, we gave her a start with doing shows in the Paparazzi nightclub. Before that, I was over in Vancouver.
And we've enjoyed her shows that she's done at Paparazzi, always a big welcome.
There's never a dull moment with Buddha Gabor. That is for sure.
I think nice 100-year-old drag queens that are happy to share their knowledge and be fun and say, hey, come on, I'm going to help you with this, is very helpful. And it's wonderful because some of like Sugar and Giselle and Andrina and Megan, there's a whole renaissance of drag. And a lot of the guys, you know them, they're not the type that might usually do drag. We're having a party.
Many dances to go. We have so many dances.
Unfortunately, that is all the time we have for this second April episode of Outlook TV.
But fortunately, we are already hard at work on our May show. And if you'd like to help us, we are still looking for reporters, editors, camera people, and all of the amazing, magical team that makes a TV show happen. So get in touch.
And in the meantime, why don't you follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. For Outlook TV, I'm Rebecca Wyman.
And I'm Dan Doomshaw. Stay fabulous, Canada.